Hello. Today we're getting a little bit of back to basics going here. That is, let's see, 4 pounds of ground beef and 1 pound of pork sausage. I put some, the same seasoning I used last time. What is that stuff? Lowry seasoning salt. Got some of that in there, and that's it. Just a little update from last week. I used that cottage cheese in there, and I retained fluid, and evidently cottage cheese is one of those things that causes me to retain fluid. So I had problems this week with a lot of swelling. So hang on, I'm grabbing just a little more of this seasoning salt. But anyway, so I will not be using that rest of that cottage cheese that I bought. So I'll ask around work and see if somebody wants it, because that's what I did with those sausages that I had. Somebody will always want something in life. You know what I mean? You can always find somebody who likes something that you don't. Anyway, so like I said, this is ground beef and pork. And that's the seasoning salt. So anyway, I didn't make a loaf or anything this time. I'm just going to do it like this. Man, that loaf, it just seems to be so dry. And it's like I have to choke it down almost. So that's why I'm doing it this way, and see how that works. And then, just a second, I'll show you what I got going on over here. So over here, I've got just ground pork. I can't chop it up one-handed very well. But I'm cooking up some ground pork. I think my skillet is a little too small for the amount in it. It's a pound. It's almost 2 pounds. It's like 1 3/4 pounds of ground pork. So I'm cooking that up, and then I'm going to put that into 5 breakfast containers, and then I'll fry up some eggs, and then that will be my breakfast. So when this is done, I'll show you how that looks. Sorry, where I put my tripod usually is where my crock pot is. So I can't set my tripod up like normal. But I'm just browning sausage, ground pork. You don't need to see how to do that. You do it the same way you do ground beef, and do it till it's all that brown color. Anyway, I'll show you whenever I get when I get it done and how it looks. So next week we're going to use my bigger skillet. This probably wasn't the wisest decision, but it's a decision I made. It's one of those that kind of tapers at the bottom. So I've got 15 eggs in here, and 3 of them were goose eggs duck eggs that a lady from work brought in. And I don't know, 6 or 7 of them were, 6 of them were homemade or homegrown chicken eggs. I've never had those as an adult that I know of. So anyway, so I'm making up my eggs, but take heed. Make sure you have a big enough thing when you cook your eggs and your sausage. So for next week, I'll definitely need a bigger thingy. I also, because I think in my last video I showed it, I crock potted some chicken. And I've decided I think that it would be pretty cool to make almost like a chicken salad type thing. So I've got some eggs over here. And one of them is one of those homemade chicken eggs. And anyway, so I'm waiting on those to boil. But yeah, so make sure you got a big enough skillet when you decide to cook your eggs. Because so far it's been okay, but I don't stir up my eggs, so there's going to be white pieces of the whites in there. So anyway, I'll get back to doing this, and so I don't make a mess out of it. And then I'll show you, I did get my sausage broken down into these, so I'll just put 5 servings of the eggs on top of them, but I'll show you how that looks in a little bit. Here's a tip for your cheese. Since I don't eat a lot of cheese, here's a tip. I keep it in the freezer, and when I pull it out, it's usually frozen solid into a block. But I take a hammer, well, not a hammer, one of those kitchen, where did it go? That kitchen mallet right there, and I beat it. And then that gets it all crumbly again. And then when I refreeze it, it'll turn into another block. But so I got my eggs in there, and I don't want to add a lot of cheese because cheese does things to me. Nothing like, you know, I don't have like side effects like dairy or something, but just some swelling. So this time I'm just doing a little bit of that. So there we go. I'll put the lid on, and that will be my breakfast this week. And that's what I'll have. So the ground beef is still cooking. So there's nothing to show with that yet. But anyway, yeah. So there's my breakfast for the week. Today's Saturday, so tomorrow I'll probably have something. Maybe I'll just have plain eggs because I used up all my sausage. So I won't be using any sausage with my eggs tomorrow. But yeah. So I'm finally done with that old nasty steakums. And like I said, I say I'm not going to buy it again, but my memory is not that great. So I may buy some in 2 weeks and be like, look guys, look, I got me some steakums. And then you're going to laugh and be like, that lady, she ain't right. And you will be correct. Anyway, so all right, well, I'm going to push pause so you don't have to watch this forever. And when the other stuff's done, I'll package that up and show you. Okay, and here, that's the ground beef and ground pork concoction. Let's put a little bit, maybe a tablespoon of cheese on it, maybe. Again, cheese and dairy should be a garnishment. I made the mistake last week of putting too much of that cottage cheese in my food, and I don't want to say suffered the consequences. It's not like it was a horrible ordeal. I just had swollen ankles. So anyway, so there's my lunches. You just saw my breakfast, and I'll continue to have what I have for supper. And like I said, one night I'll probably take the chicken and the eggs and mix that together and have a makeshift chicken salad. I might even have it with some pork rinds. That'd be kind of a fun little thing. So there you go. That's my meal prep for this upcoming week.